Hey guys, and welcome back to part 2 of my Xmas movie marathon. Today we're going to be talking about Silent Night, Deadly Night. We will be discussing part 2 as well as the reboot Silent Night later on in our series, so if you are interested in seeing those movies with me, come on back later. Please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Trust me, I would mail you a hug. But today we're just going to be talking about part 1. The version that I saw, I should let you know, is the uncut, complete version of the movie that's been spliced together from multiple film elements that results in a kind of choppy movie, sound editing and actual editing-wise. That if you're okay with like old school grindhouse 80s cheesy slasher type flicks, you're probably kind of used to at this point already. But if you're not, please be aware it's gonna be a bit muddled if that's the version you're watching. But otherwise, I actually think this movie does hold up in that subgenre. The music especially has that great synth score 80s vibe that is kind of coming back now with the resurgence of the mumble gore genre, like movies You're Next and The Guest, that features that very, very synth 80s kind of suspense, and it's actually kind of fun if you're a big horror movie fan long term, the way that I have been. So definitely has that going for it. Now the writing, this movie, I have to say, it's ruthlessly cruel. From the set pieces and the black humor from the movie throughout, this movie it's relentlessly trying to rape your childhood innocence. And I actually kind of like it for that reason. From the first scene when Grandpa's giving young Billy crazy person advice to the second, not first, second shooting of a Santa in front of a bunch of orphans and nuns. This movie really goes there, I have to say. Big warning though, I mean, I know it's the biggest turnoff. You're probably going to hear about it, if not from me, but I do think that people should know this going into the movie. I know a lot of people who are very sensitive to sexually violent scenes or anything of that nature. This movie does feature not one, but again, 2 scenes of a rape that involves a killer Santa Claus. That's right, not 1, but 2 killer Santa rapes. So if that sounds like it's too much for you, stay away. But if you can stomach that, if you're used to seeing really, really bad stuff in bad movies, again, it's just a bad movie. People signed up to be in that movie, and they asked and were paid to pretend that they are being raped. So no one is hurt. You are not hurt. So just calm down. It's actually a pretty good movie. But understandably, if that's where your sensitivity lies, that's completely understandable. So be warned, very, very sexually graphic in nature. The big complaint that I have about this movie features the dramatic shifts in tone. Especially if you've seen the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. The Billy gets a job montage scene, which is funny in like a, hey, look, it's the 80s kind of way, but it definitely muddles up an otherwise solid slasher flick. Now, the performances in this movie I actually enjoy. The majority of this acting, it's not as much overacting as you'd think, with the notable exception of Billy. But considering the nature of this movie, I'm surprised at the overall respect that the actors gave with the decisions they made acting-wise. Effects-wise, this is probably the thing I look for in slasher movies. If you're, again, a cult horror fan, this is one of those things that you look for, is what are the effects like? What are the kills like? Very creative, I'll give you that, considering, again, this movie features duplicate scenes a lot, but the kills are actually pretty inventive. Stabbings, decapitations, hangings, you name it, the movie probably has it. The effects are pretty good, but it will say it has this kind of bloodlessness that's in a lot of theatrically released horror movies of the time. So if you're a fan of the color red, you will have to make do with the red on Santa's suit in the meantime. Now, review-wise, now if you've seen my other video, you know that I actually give each movie 2 reviews. I have 2 hands, like thumbs up, thumbs down. Now, the idea is that there's an objective review and a subjective review. Now, objectively, I have to give this movie like a 3 or a 4 out of 10. It's To the average viewer, it's socially repugnant to non-cult film fans, and most viewers would have stopped watching the movie 20 minutes in due to its extremely sexually violent nature. That said, on a personal level, having, I guess, a really strong stomach and being used to these types of movies, that I can kind of put myself away from my own sensitivities, I guess, and watch this as a movie, as an experience. What would this feel like? I actually give this movie an 8 out of 10. It's another one of those definitely so bad it's good movie. The positives I'm going to give it, definitely the scene with Grandpa. Grandpa's fantastic. The over-the-top Hollywood psych understanding, just the overall motives of this movie are so classic bad Hollywood understanding of psychology that it's funny in its own way. The classic Christmas music that's throughout the entire movie, from Deck the Halls and Santa's Creeping, Santa's Waiting, great additions to the movie that are sweet and innocent when they're being sung, but and this kind of tonally dark element to the movie that I appreciate. It kind of lends a creepiness to the movie. So definitely a positive. So 3 out of 10 for an objective review, 8 out of 10 for my own personal enjoyment. Obviously, I had to knock off some points for some Santa rapes. It's a lot. I'll warn you. Stay clear if that's where your sensitivity lies. But if you can handle it, if you like a good, strong, raw kind of a movie around Christmas time, which I need something that will just kill the holiday spirit, that's why it's called the Xmas movie marathon. Now, I am very much I love Christmas, but it rots your teeth. It really does. It rots your teeth. So, giving this movie an 8 out of 10 to add some piss and vinegar to your Christmas. Merry Christmas, you guys. Have some fun.